largest bike rally, Sturgis, ending up in a Bud Light style backfire for Harley Davidson, as the entire Harley Davidson tent was essentially a ghost town in which years past it was jam-packed to the brim. Many people wondering why this might be. Well, of course, it's because of the work of internet sleuths like Robby Starbuck and other people, viewers like you, sharing the message that it turns out the CEO of Harley Davidson is not just a little woke, he is the full fruitcake, full-on woke insanity. There's been a massive pushback from Harley riders, from things like debadging their bikes to outright destroying them. But now many people have wondered exactly why the man hasn't been fired.
So a lot of people know that I don't generally use my channel for spreading my political views, but I have to get involved in this whole debacle with Harley Davidson. Okay, full disclosure, I do build trikes based on Harley Davidson Sportsters, so I do have skin in the game. But I could easily, for 20 years I built Suzuki Intruders. I could very easily just change brands and build another, build trikes based on something else. The Rhino trike is not specifically allied to Harley Davidson in any way, but full disclosure, I do have an interest. But I'm finding it really difficult to get my head around the way people are responding to this. Harley Davidson is not Bud Light. Bud Light is a disposable product. Harley Davidsons are motorcycles. Harley Davidson is an iconic brand that has been around for 120 years nearly, and it is a really long established brand. It has been through quite a turbulent past in the 70s with the bowling ball manufacturers getting involved, but the mark has endured. And the way people are going on about debadging their Harleys, blowing up their Harleys, Robby Starbuck saying should he shoot his Harley, should he blow it up, it's all a bit lame. At the end of the day, it's a motorbike, and it's a motorbike that men build with their hands. They customize it, they build it, it's a work of art, it's an iconic brand. And I just say, well, you've got to separate the Harley Davidson Motorcycle Company from the Harley Davidson brand and the Harley Davidson logo. You've got your bike, you love your bike, don't buy a new one. Don't take it to Harley Davidson Motor Co for servicing. Service it yourself. Buy your aftermarket parts online, buy second-hand parts where necessary, keep the second-hand market buoyant. Not a penny of that goes in Harley Davidson's coffers. What you've got to realise is that there is something going on at the moment. Like I said, I don't really want to be going down the rabbit hole with my politics on my YouTube channel, because that's not what my YouTube channel is about. But there is something going on, and it seems to me that this whole woke agenda is anti-family and it is anti-fraternity. And the biking fraternity is a big and very solid fraternity. And I think that, if I put my paranoid head on, I think that the reason they're destroying these iconic brands, that are the reason that the wokesters, that the boards of directors, the World Economic Forum people and the Vanguard people, the BlackRock people, the reason they're willing to lose money the way they seem to be, it has to be a higher agenda. There has to be a higher agenda. And my opinion is it's to do with this destruction of the nuclear family, destruction of fraternity. Where are they attacking? They're attacking men where they live. They're attacking their motorcycles, they're attacking their beer brand. And it just seems to me this is designed, this is yet another thing that is designed to take away the bonds that people have, family, fraternity. Get rid of those bonds, because those bonds are strong. And when you can break down those bonds and you start to think to yourself, okay, what did Klaus Schwab say on the World Economic Forum's own website about you will own nothing and you will be happy? Well, I don't think he meant you will own nothing and you will be happy as in you'll be cheerful and that'll suit you and you'll enjoy that. I think he means you'll be happy because if you aren't happy, we're going to do something about it. You know, it's a case of you will follow you will do what we say and you will like it. It's not a case of be happy as in because it's uplifting and it's made your world better. It's not going to make your world better. It's going to make your world a hell of a lot worse. And I just think we need to separate. In this particular instance with Harley, you know, I've got a lot of respect for Jeremy from the Quartering. I love what he's done. I love the fact that he's built his own coffee brand and that, so that he's no longer the servant of the wokesters of the YouTube and the algorithms and all the rest of it. And I agree with almost all of what he says. He's very based, but I think he's off the mark here. I think what he did with Bud Light, what a lot of creators did with Bud Light, was a good thing. They almost bankrupt the company. They told the company, we're not having it. You're not going to take our brand. You know, you're not going to turn our brand woke. We'll go elsewhere and you'll earn no money. But I just don't think you can do the same thing with Harley Davidson, because what they're doing is they're attacking the brand, and the brand doesn't belong to this German guy that is the CEO of the company. It doesn't belong to the board of directors that have bought their way into the Harley Davidson Motor Company. It belongs to the guys that raced the bikes, that rode the bikes, that customized the bikes, that made the bikes, that attended the rallies, that made the mark the icon that it is. And I just think that they want us to destroy this icon. They want us to destroy all of the symbols that, you know, country, family, fraternity, in that order. Take it all down. That's what they're trying to do. And I'm sorry if you think this is very political and a little bit, you know, a little bit too much for a guy that builds trikes in a garage. I suspect if you look at the majority of Harley Davidson owners and riders, they're not going to be the type that are dressing their boys as girls and their girls as boys and waving rainbow flags and attending left-wing rallies. Not in the slightest. So that's basically the people that are actually owning and riding these bikes. They're pretty based. And, you know, you've seen all the way along when, you know, this whole, since 2016, since the rise of MAGA, you've seen this support, Bikers for Trump. It just seems to me to be a little ironic that this is another one of these, you know, like John Deere, the tractor brand. It's an iconic men's brand, and these wokesters are infiltrating it. They're getting themselves. They're buying their way into the board of directors, and they're starting all this DEI stuff off. And you know, I just think there's an agenda. There is an agenda. So what I'm saying basically is, don't debadge your Harleys. That is so lame, and don't take your Harleys out into the paddock and blow them up. Just carry on riding them. You enjoy it. Don't spend any money in. Don't buy the Harley apparel. Don't buy any of the Harley merchandise. Don't put any more money in the wokesters' pockets. Just ride your bikes, repair them with second-hand parts, use aftermarket accessories, service them yourself. That's what they're meant to be anyway. That's you know, who can afford to run a Harley? I mean, we're not all hog. You know, the majority of Harley riders out there are real people that can't afford to be taking their bikes to Harley Davidson every time something goes wrong or for regular servicing. They do it themselves. That's what the bikes are all about. I just think, you know, like I say, much respect to Jeremy for doing what he's doing. He's trying to beat this issue his own way, but I think he's off the mark with this one. I think that it really needs to be. I mean, looking at what people did with GameStop, I'd love to see them do something like that with Harley Davidson. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't know how it was actually done, but I know that this must involve money at the end of the day. There must be financial gains involved somewhere along the line with these people, because that is the god they worship. A lot of people are saying, oh, you should, don't buy Harley Davidson, buy Indian. But I had a look online, and Polaris, their DEI score is, I think it was 39% or 3.9% something. It was as bad as Harley. So, I mean, that's going to happen in a minute, isn't it? That someone's going to expose them in a minute. I mean, it just, unless you're going to go to a company that doesn't even know what DEI is, like Enfield or someone like that, you're probably going to find that the same people are behind it all, BlackRock and Vanguard. I couldn't believe, I've got a few shares in Rumble. I bought a few shares in Rumble because I think Rumble's a brilliant idea, and I think the CEO of Rumble's got the right idea. But even Rumble, major shareholders, BlackRock and Vanguard. So, these guys, their tentacles, they're insidious. It's coming into everything. I just don't think the way forward is to destroy everything that we hold dear. I just, the scorched earth policy. And that's what this is. This is a scorched earth policy, because yes, there's lots of different motorbikes out there that you could buy instead of Harley Davidson, but there's only one Harley Davidson. So I'm sorry, I feel a bit passionate about it. I just think this is not the right way to go. Not in this instance. By all means, bankrupt the company. Take away their pocketbook. Hit them in the pocketbook. Boycott the don't buy any new bikes. Don't get your bike serviced by them. Don't buy any spare parts. And for God's sake, steer clear of all the apparel and all that stuff, because that's where they make their biggest buck. But taking the badges off your Harleys, making it like you're ashamed to ride that mark, when that mark has been around since the turn of the last century, and it's an iconic mark that has been forged through the endeavours of men, and not through these wankers that are running it at the moment. This is just a tiny blip in time, and there must be another way around it. Okay, anyway, that's my tuppence worth for what it's worth. Not everyone's a fan of Harley. That's pretty obvious. Some people absolutely hate them. But you've got to admit, there is something about them. They have just a certain presence. And this is one that we're just in the process of building. But they certainly stand out in a crowd. I suppose what I'm trying to say really is, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Let's just get this into perspective. It's the company that's at fault, not the mark.